Bonjour tout le monde. Aujourd'hui, on va voir les verbes irréguliers. That means hello everyone. Today we are going to look at the irregular verbs in French. Okay, the irregular verbs in French. So guys, in the previous video I've already talked about the regular verbs. So in case you haven't watched it, just quickly have a look at that as well and then come here. So the regular verbs, that is les verbes irréguliers, there are a lot of irregular verbs in French, but in this particular video I'll just be discussing two of them, which are, like, I would say they are the heart of French language. So before proceeding with anything in the language, you should thoroughly practice these two verbs and their conjugations. So guys, one thing which is very important to know about the irregular verbs is that you don't get any regular pattern for these verbs. That means you have to remember the conjugations separately for each and every verb. Now this sounds a bit tough, but guys, it's not that tough. All you have to do is, whenever you come across an irregular verb, just write down its conjugation 2 to 3 times and then you will be thorough with it. Okay, so that's how you practice. It's not that tough, but obviously not as simple as the regular verb. So the best way to do is to do it side by side as and when you come across an irregular verb. Let's begin. Okay, talking about the conjugation. So the first verb that we'll talk about is the verb être. Être means to be. So one of the most important things when you learn a new language is how to express yourself. That is, for example, if I want to say I am happy or I am feeling sad or something like that, or if I want to say that you are looking beautiful, to compliment others also. So for that we really need this verb être. So today we'll be discussing that. That means to be. So I am, you are, he is, they are, things like that. That's what comes under this être verb. So the conjugation goes like this. Again, I have written the subject pronouns in the same way as I've done before. Over there I've written the translations in English. So it goes like this: je suis. Okay, the S at the end is silent, so we say je suis. Now the French people also have a habit of quickly saying it as suis, just like that. Okay, so you can hear that pronunciation as well. Otherwise you can just simply say je suis. Tu es. Okay, this is pronounced as a. Il, elle, a. So this A and this A have got the same pronunciation. Tu es, il est, elle est. Same. Then nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, elles sont. Okay. One thing here, the liaison takes place because this is a consonant and this is a vowel, and we don't generally pronounce this consonant. So again, the concept of liaison comes in. So you say vous êtes. So je suis means I am. Tu es means you are. Il, elle, est means he or she is. Nous sommes means we are. Vous êtes means you are or you all are. Then ils sont and elles sont means they are. So that is about the être verb. Moving on to some examples. Now I have taken this example to basically demonstrate you something, basically a very common error where students generally get stuck. So I just decided to take that up. So for the first 3, I would like you to stop the video over here. Try these first 3 examples. You have to use one of these 2 verbs to fill in these 3 blanks. The verb regarder, that means to watch, and the verb être means to be, which I've already discussed. This regarder is a regular verb. So similarly, as you conjugate the ER verbs, you have to conjugate this verb as well. So just stop the video right here, guys, and try out the conjugation of these 2 verbs, and just try to find out what fits in which blank. So I will be discussing the answers. So I say Tanu dash une fille. That means Tanu is a girl. So the part which I have underlined is I need to fill it here. So obviously I will have the verb être, because that means to be. So Tanu est une fille. Okay. The second one says Tanu dash la télé. That means Tanu watches TV. Now since it's watches, I'll definitely use the verb regarder. That means to watch. So I'll conjugate the verb according to Tanu. And one more thing, guys, I hope it's quite clear that when you have a name instead of the subject pronoun, like I have Tanu, obviously that corresponds to the subject pronoun L, and you have to write that particular conjugation. Okay, so that should be clear. Now if in place of Tanu I would have written Tanu and Anu, suppose, so in that case you will have to use the conjugation with ELLES, that is L plural. Okay, so you need to correspond to the subject pronouns and then write the conjugations. So Tanu regarde la télé, that means Tanu watches TV. Now the third one, which is actually very important, Tanu dash la tele. If I want to say Tanu is watching TV, now here what do people generally do is they replace this is by the verb être and watching by the verb regarder. But that's absolutely wrong in French, because in my previous video I discussed with you that the present and the present continuous have got the same translation in French. So here the verb is actually not, talking about Tanu, but actually it's is watching. So you have to look at your main verb, and my main verb here is watching and not the verb être. That's why I need to use the verb regarder only and same conjugation as this one. So it will be Tanu regarde la tele, because I told you in the previous video that present and present continuous of the same verb will have the same translation in French. So whether I say watches or is watching, the same translation. I say play or is playing, again the same translation, same as the present tense in French. Okay, so present continuous is not required, the verb être is not required. That is the point to be noted. Similarly, on similar lines, you have to do these three as well. So I have taken the verb here choisir. Choisir means to choose. The verb être again means to be. Again, a similar kind of example. I say je dash une étudiant. That means I am a student. Evidently, I'll use the verb être over here and I'll say je suis or je suis une étudiante. Okay? Or simply say je suis. Okay? You don't need to speak like the French at this early stage. But yeah, you should understand if they say it like this. So je suis une étudiante. Moving on to the next one, it says je dash ce livre. So I choose this book. Again, you will use the verb choisir. Okay, choisir, because that means to choose. So I'll say it's the IR verb, so you need to look at choisir and regarder, both are regular verbs, so you know the conjugation if you have watched the previous video. Any regular verb you can conjugate once you know the standard pattern. Okay, so I say je choisis ce livre, that means I choose this book. Again, the third one, I say I am choosing this book, so you don't need to use the verb être here, rather your choisir conjugated like this will do the job, because again present of the same verb and present continuous of the same verb have the same translation in French. So whenever guys you are translating or you are trying to frame a sentence in French, it's very important not to indulge into word by word translation, but rather you should look at the sentence as a whole, try to decipher the meaning and then translate it into French accordingly, so that the meaning remains the same but not the word by word translation, because obviously it's a different language, it has got its own different rules and you need to abide by them. Okay, so the answer to this will be again the same, je choisis ce livre. Okay, so these are the examples. You need to pay attention here, this was an important point. Coming on to the second most important verb in the French language, which is the verb avoir, which means to have. Okay, so earlier one it was to be, now to have. Let's look at the conjugations. It says j'ai. So J apostrophe A, again I told you, wherever there is this apostrophe contraction between the words, you always speak it out as a single word. Okay, so you say j'ai. Okay, j'ai means I have. Tu as. Okay, tu as. You have to open your mouth and then pronounce it. So tu as means you have. Then you say il a, elle a. Again the same pronunciation. This a and this a have the same pronunciation. So he or she has. Then nous avons, that means we have. Now here again the S needs to be pronounced because of the liaison. So nous avons, vous avez, that means you have, and ils ont and elles ont. Again this S needs to be pronounced. One more thing guys, whenever you are doing liaison and you have the letter S, you would have noticed that I am not saying nous savons, but I am saying nous avons. So it's rather a sound which is tending towards the alphabet Z, okay, and not S. So I say nous avons, a Z sound, instead of saying nous savons. Okay, that needs to be noted. And yeah, that's about the verb avoir. So just learn the conjugation as it is. All you have to do is just write it 2 to 3 times or use it or try to make a sentence out of it and you will learn it. Your job is done. It's that simple. Yeah. Now a few examples. je dash un stylo. Means I have a pen I want to write. So I'll use the verb avoir. I'll say j'ai un stylo. Means I have a pen. Then ils dash un chien. Sorry, ils dash un chien means they have a dog. So I'll say ils ont un chien means they have a dog. Then il dash mon livre. He has my book. Il a mon livre. He has my book. That's it for this video, guys. This was just about 2 irregular verbs. There are a lot many irregular verbs, so time and again I'll keep on making videos on them. But if you also randomly come across a verb, any verb in the language, what you should do is you should go to the net, search the conjugation and learn it side by side. So that would be the best practice, and once you have written it twice or thrice, it will be on your tips, so no, don't worry about that. And in the previous video I had given you an exercise, so the answers to that I have given below, so just check them, and if they are good, then congratulations. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye bye, take care.